video. Now I'm turning on the video conference, so in streaming, so even the other participant can see us. Okay, let's start then, Ezra, and welcome to everybody. Once again, I remind you to put your real name and surname on the Zoom account here, renaming yourself, for example, Dennis or anyone else, because the system automatically registers your name and surname. Irma, for example, put your surname, register even the minutes you have been joining. This is important for the certificate. If we don't have your name and surname, we are not able to produce a certificate and send them to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all of you coming from 20 European and extra-European countries. And well, I consider Turkey a part of Europe personally, because I personally have more friends in Turkey than in Italy. But anyway, my name is Stefano Cobello. I'm coordinating the European Polo of Knowledge, which is a network of education institutions in Italy, 4,000, even more. And it's a public body, no profit. I'm here with the partners of Erasmus Plus Creativity 201 project called Pearl. I'm here with Gazi University representative by Ezra and Aisel. They are here present. I'm here with Lithuanian Panevalis Director of Education with Jurgita Vati-Kunienė. I'm sorry, the pronunciation, I'm not Lithuanian, and so I will always make mistakes. I'm sorry. And I have here as a representative of the four partner, the region Castilla y León, Maria Blanco, she's here. And if you, well, those are the four corners of this project, but we have other friends here, like Boyan. And Boyan is from North Macedonia. And thank you for joining this project, this training course, Boyan, and take your teachers from North Macedonia. Boyan is partner of other European project with us. He represents Fred for Education NGO in Skopje, and which is an association of more than 500 teachers. And we are collaborating in a lot of European projects and a lot of the common cross-link activities. So our attitude in this project, let me prepare the PDF. Okay, it's called Emotional, Empathic, Proximal Learning, Education Environment, Pearl, which is quite difficult to explain indeed. But we are starting from the greatest pedagogist we had in Europe and outside Europe. And unfortunately, I admit my very big luck. I have, okay, hello from Bulgaria also. We got Bulgaria here represented today. It's a very big luck. I had no much access because the language to Turkish pedagogists, that would be very nice. And also Lithuanian and also Bulgarian, even if some Hungarian, some Canadian, well, we have received, at least in Italy and Europe, their contribution. So we are starting. Please turn off your microphone. Mute your microphone, all of you. Please, thank you. So we are starting from the biggest contribution of three main pedagogists, four. The first one is Montessori. Hello, turn off the microphone, please. I'm sorry, I have. How can I turn off the microphone to all of them? Jurgita, you know how to do it. This is a Turkish language.
You need to go to a mute and
I have no idea where to do it.
Arkadaşlar lütfen mikrofonlarınızı kapayın. Türk öğretmenler.
Jurgita, you got the permission as a co-host, so you can look and mute someone. Can you do it for me? Thank you. Check with speaking. Okay, thank you very much. So, from four main pedagogies, I said Montessori, Vygotsky from Russian. That's why we got proximal learning and not zone, but environment, Piaget and Bandura. And all of them have been influencing a lot our idea of project. So what we are doing in this project, let me start with sharing with you the screen and the PowerPoint. Here it is. Okay, this is a first multiplier event of the first part of the multiplier event and training course of PEAR project, Emotional, Empathic, Proximal Learning, Educational Environment. What have we been doing up to now? We've been creating a pedagogical new strategy, thinking, elaborating, and I have to thank indeed the Gazi University for the contribution, which was marvelous indeed. And also a methodology for assessing this pedagogical strategy. So what we are doing in this project is quite simple and complicated. In this project, we are testing, and we will open this testing to your contribution and your point of view after and during this training course. We are testing this pedagogical strategy on kids 0-6 years old. Everything you will learn from here comes out from Lithuanian contribution, Spanish contribution, Turkish contribution, and Italian contribution. And feel free to give us your feedback. Anytime you want to ask questions, you have a Google group. We have a chat on Viber, so you can join the chat and you can write to us here, and we will add you and we will invite you to discuss about what you will see. So it's an Erasmus Plus Creativity 201. It's a strategic partnership project presented in Italy, and the Italian National Agency Erasmus Plus has supported the project. And the project started already 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. And so the aims were to develop and validate an innovative educational model for early age. Here you see one, but we in the project wrote 0-2. Then we got 3-4 years old and 5-6, because following a little bit Piaget, a little bit Vygotsky, and the growing up steps of children are different for these 3 special moments of the life of a person. And we are trying to foster the growth, but everything is based on educational and positive emotions. What create this positive emotion, and how those impact on the self-esteem, participation, and plus inclusive dialogue and communication among kids. So what we've been doing, we've been tackling different perspectives from different point of views. And what it was nice that we never had something in contrast between countries. For the first time, I admit and I thank all the partners, we have found a common field of intervention and experimentation and piloting without any difficulty, which is very, very rare. It means that we are ready to cooperate at equal level from different cultures, and none of us is over the other. We're just sharing equally. This is a proximal learning environment indeed. So, and therefore, we have been using for 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, also robotics. You will see small robots. We will show you one video as an example, and Doc Robot by Clementoni, because Clementoni Corporation is one of the partners of this project. And as an observation and learning from what comes out from this project in order to improve the quality of the production of those robots for the future, in order to let them include also some pedagogical models and strategies to improve the quality of education. So we've been testing and using Docker SuperDoc robots, and especially not 0-2, but 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and also with some aspects you will see furthermore in this presentation. And we have been really trying to measure how we could develop relational and emotional skills in kids. And because the self-estimation the harmonic growth of children comes out from different aspects. Among them, one of the most important are relational and emotional. Positive emotion, it has been demonstrated many times in pedagogy. They enhance the level of awareness and learning process. So let's start with the share. And all the partners feel free to intervene. Sorry, I need to well, I duplicated instead of, okay. So you will see twice this, okay. Which has been the objective and the partner. The partners already told you, Polo Europeo della Conoscenza, European Polo of Knowledge, and we are from Verona based, but spread all over Italy. And here in this meeting, we have a lot of collaborators, and I thanks all of them for the contribution and help. Gazi University, Turkey, represented by the Professor Ezra and Aysel here, and they are really collaborating positively very well. La Consejería de Educación Junta de Castilla y León is the regional administration. It's a Department of Education with the Marian Blanco represented. Okay, Lithuania, Svietimo Centra, by Jurgita Vaticanini and Clementoni. What we've been doing then, we are trying also to gather all the positive energy, all the proactive and interested teachers and schools from all over Europe and outside Europe to create a network which will help us to test and pilot this methodology, but also to continue, because we will not finish with this project. We will continue with other activities. So please participate to this training course, thinking if your institution and you would like to join us, and it would be a free sharing of emotion network for the future in order to increase what we have been trying to demonstrate. So we have created, and we are creating a new curriculum for teachers. This is a part of the training course, but also multiplier event. There will be probably a multiplier event in presence in Turkey. I hope we will be able to hold it. And other moments, especially a conference, multiplier event in Italy in presence. Let's hope we could hold it on May, at the end of May. So what we will produce again? We will produce a white paper. White paper is something that probably very few of you knows. There have been only one white paper in Europe before this one. It was in 1987 by the Minister of Education, European Minister of Education, Eddy Cresson, about education. The white paper is the guidelines, main guidelines, is like a highway for pedagogy and education to be shared among institutions. So we are trying to open a new way of pedagogy and to test scientifically, demonstrate what we have been imagining and collecting with our daily experience with kids in early education. Early education needs a special attention, and because it's the moment during which we can really impact on the positive growth of children. Because within the first 1,000 days, as Piaget had been demonstrated and explaining very well, the kids are breathing and absorbing and metabolizing all the aspects around them. Proximal learning zone by Vygotsky, I mean, the example of the adults, example of the teachers. So we are working on teachers' attitude, strategies, teachers' impact, but above all, sharing peer education and cooperative learning, and also try to move towards inclusive education, inclusive communication, and metacognitive attitude. In few words, I mentioned almost all the pedagogical word strategies, but I'm sorry, this is really what we have put it into this project, which was not easy, but it was a wonderful challenge. And I want to thank all the partners, once again, because we couldn't imagine such a successful project at the beginning, because we had some difficulties, of course, at the beginning.
Bunu 4. sınıfların anlaması neredeyse mümkünatı yok.
Sizin yaşınızda
Sorry.
bir sürü öğrenci var. İngilizce konuşuyor.
Baba tamam da ama adamlar orada bir sürü ta lisedeki öğrenecek şeyler.
Arkadaşlar Türkçe konuşuyorsunuz. Kapatın mikrofonunuzu.
Okay, thank you very much. So, so I want to thank once again the partners, because we have been dealing with the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown of the schools. And even if I thank all the school participating, we've been able to go into the school to take videos, to observe, and to, well, to demonstrate something. And every country had two main, one pedagogist and one psychotherapist or other experts. And at the end, we will have two very important experts analyzing all the material. One is Swati Pupat from India, which is a great pedagogy. She has been writing a lot of books. After I will show you some of them about early education. And Iglika Angelova from Bulgaria. She's really an important and expert in the field. So we will have two more contributions in our white book. The white book will be spread around Europe, and we will receive a lot of comments. I hope very little criticism and a lot of support, because we want to continue on this way. So, okay, let's go on. Educational emotion. For us, educational emotion means well-being, smile, and it's enhance the process of a neurological positive answer. It motivates to learn, but above all, to share learning process. We call it pro-sociality. Staying together, copying to each other is not a negative aspect. Fixed in teacher's mind, when the kids, they copy from each other, they share, they dialogue, especially in a classroom. When you have some kids and you want silence from them, you are putting a barrier between the best important learning process. You should enhance. It means you should work on enhance and create more activities producing educational emotion. When they are happy to join, to play, especially during that target group age, kids are growing up faster and learning from each other, and they share and they trust each other. It's also a very interesting way to prevent bullying, because when you have someone that needs attention, needs love, needs care, he demonstrated trying to get a role, an important role into the small group environment. And with the sharing of emotion, this role is not necessary anymore, because it feels compensated. It feels in harmony, it feels respected and under the other's attention in an equal environment. So the best attitude of the teacher, I'm telling you our considerations and what we already demonstrated. The teachers has to change a little bit attitude. Instead of being the one providing the learning material and content, it should be able to let the kids sharing in positive emotional environment and deciding and moving towards their own inclination, their own passion, and their own interest. We have seen an example of learning corners with a lot of material, and kids feel free to move from side to side. But we have been, and you will see afterwards, the example of having a small robot into it, attracting all the attention and creating a special learning emotional environment. So, prosociality is a word that we use very much because all of us are members of a world network called Nobody Less, promoting the pro-social values. empathy, solidarity, generosity, respecting the environment, against bullying, equal opportunity, sharing competencies, all the values that we consider as pedagogists important for the future of this planet. So let's go forward. So what was the aim? And you see kids in group, and you see a disabled, because our countries, they are respecting the differences and working for inclusive learning environments. And so we want to include everyone. If we lose one kid, we lose all the kids. If one stays aside and doesn't communicate or feel rejected by the group, we lose it. We lose him or her. So the first thing, so our activity has been focused on stimulating the learning process. And the free exchange of contents, ideas, words, smiles, and the importance of smile is very, very important. It's been underlined everywhere. And above all, respect. It means the rules are important for everyone. You see in this group, 2 kids are very happy and one is crying over there. This is something that, and the teacher is looking only to one and the other they are doing. But if the teacher puts this book in the center, everyone will look at the book. So our attention was drawn by the small robot as an attractive tool for promoting sharing of emotion and educational content. Okay. And so we led the kids to our activities that we've been thinking, and they will be available for all of you, and you will see them during this training course, during these meetings. We're letting the kids able to free to express themselves and also to discover, find out their own potential and talents without any border, without judgment, without evaluation, without any positive or negative impact, but only smile, creating a positive moment for them, working for this happiness of learning. So we've been following, as I told you, Piaget, the empathic emotional development in relationship with peers, Vygotsky cognitive development, internalizing the process of to reach a shared solution. We call it proximal learning environment. Piaget was defining mostly proximal learning zone. The adult as an example from which kids were taking ideas, example, movement, and so on. We have been working on kids' environments, children's environment, as a proximal learning space for them. Montessori, the learning experience through using tools, touching all the senses. So every object, we put it in our activities, was also something to be touched, to be used, and not a distance object only to admire, and creating a kind of barrier between the learning object or learning motivation and the kid. So constructivism, structural, environmental, and relational. What does it mean, constructivism? Constructivism, reshaping the learning environment, changing, exchanging roles, exchanging tools, giving tasks to everyone in order to rebuild every time the learning process and learning environment, in order to help all the kids to grow up in harmony with the same attention and the same important role to play into the activity. That's what we experimented indeed. So, robots in early education.
Stefano, sorry.
Okay, do you want to say, Elena Milli, she's a psychotherapist from Italy, and she's collaborating with our network, and I think her contribution could be important. So, Elena.
Sorry to interrupt, but I would like to add something about the part connected to the educational emotions and the proximal learning environment. Because you rightly said that we are aiming to create a positive and smiling environment, but what that means for the development of the child. When we smile, we create a warm and welcoming environment where they can feel free to express themselves. And this is also something that we can register from the neurological growth. So also from the growing of the connection in the brain of the children. So when a child is learning in a positive environment where he has, if he can find smile and he can express his or her emotion, his or her neurological net is growing faster and faster. And the positive emotions, it keeps the stronger memories, so help the memory to be fixed, and the child is going to look for this kind of situation over and over again. So if the learning is happening in a positive moment, in a positive environment, he will look for this kind of learning again. When another thing about emotion, so we are welcoming also the negative, what we used to call negative emotion. There are not negative emotion. We have to get rid of this definition because the child can express all the emotions. So when it is a smile or when it is crying or weeping, it's important for them to know the emotion and to know how to express them. And doing this in group is very useful for them. So one of the aim of the project is to develop the empathic learning environment. So where they can express this emotion and know the emotion of the others. Okay.
Thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
Ezra, do you want to add anything, or Mariam? Feel free. So we can proceed to robotics.
Yes, I agree. It's a very, very important positive environment for children, because the development occurs even in the positive environment, and the positive feelings come from the positive environment, I think. For this reason, we know that the early childhood educators know that issues very well, I think. And we are trying to build a positive environment and rich environment from the materials and the other things as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ezra. Mariam?
I agree completely, also because childhood is the most important stage in the life of a person. So I very much agree and very much interested on using this tool that is new. And from me, we can go on the presentation.
Okay, I want to add something. We had experience in my long experience in coordinating a network of visiting some schools and looking at teachers shouting to kids. Shouting to kids to take out the hands from the pocket or to be silenced on they are not aware of the damage they are provoking. The amygdala in the children's brain is internalizing and collecting suffering. And this creates really a huge interfering for the learning in the learning process of the kids and the self-estimation. So that's why co-constructive environment means also that positive music, to have nice things, not exceeding in everything, but just to follow the inputs and the needs of the children, especially during that period of age, the target group we have been measuring. So I go a little bit forward. Okay, robots in education. Robots can be a positive and, well, difficult things to handle in education. We are mostly not working for coding. We're working for educational robotics, and especially in that early age without devices. I mean, without app for tablet and smartphones, because a lot of studies are demonstrating how much they can influence and can substitute the learning process or the brain growth of the children with some attraction, and really in some cases, has been demonstrated, they are impacting of the children's creativity process, because they substitute the attention and they provide some adrenaline, some dopamine in the children's brain. But this is a field of epigenetic research, and it's not really our target. But we have chosen to use robots, simple robots, played with hands and without devices, in order not to deal into a very dangerous field. Oh, let's go. Okay, which are the cognitive aspects dealing with robots? Robots have been, and they are a wonderful tool for solving problems, find solutions, verify the results, because the robots makes mistakes, but it's not the child making mistake. They can start again every time they want. They can repeat 1,000 times, and they can cooperate, with the robot to reach the goal. And this is exactly what happened. And so with the robot, they can develop creativity. You can imagine how. You will see in the video, just an excuse to have a robot. Children and kids have been started to create their own world of imagination. And they started to play something which was enhancing the level of sharing cognitive processes and also learning of strategies, how to use it. And the robot's been using it is quite interesting. You will see afterwards. I will talk a little bit about it. So, and then ask curiosity, because the robot been using talks. He says something. He speaks very fast. He moves fast. And also he does exactly what they want to do. So they are challenging themselves all the time with the advanced and more advanced strategies and direction, how to solve the problems. So it increases motivation and involvement. It attracts the attention and helps to learn abstract concepts like where to move, imagining all the arrows, how to reach a certain place through concrete representation. Mean the robot has to go there. And when it makes a mistake, all of them are laughing. Nobody's crying because the robot made a mistake. So the person who gives instruction can start again and try again until it reaches the goal with all the group support. We have been testing the robots in group of 5 kids. And the teacher was supporting externally, not intervening, and giving the main instruction, preparing the team, giving tasks at the beginning. We will talk in more detail afterwards, but not substituting with the kids' activity. So here you see what we call scenarios. Scenario is a table made 15 by 15 centimeter, which is the step of the robot we've been using. And you see here is empty. You see 2 different robots. They call it apes, but we normally use Doc and SuperDoc by Clementori, and because they are more suitable for our task. And they move step 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter. And this is an empty one, but you will see a full of drawing one. They can also draw their own scenarios. They can also imagine an environment, and you will see at the end with some videos that we have prepared for you. So they are playful in a protected learning environment, and something that they can repeat 1,000 times as much as they want. They can make mistake without being judged because it's the robot, the actor. And the robot can follow the line, but also can move a little bit aside or can turn before time. And it creates another environment, another creativity process, another imagination process by kids, because unexpectedly, he gives a lot of hints to continue the game. And they can experience different roles. Why 5? Why only 5 kids? Because it's the right number in order to help. They can help each other. They cannot overwhelm to each other. They don't need among the group to shout or impose themselves in order to proceed. they sharing the roles and activities are quite fast because only 5. And we've been using 1 or 2 robots. It has been also a positive effect. Okay, this is the main part. Now I let meanwhile I'm looking for the video, and to start, I give the word to Elena if you want to add anything, and Ezra and Mariam, and I'll move to looking for the videos to show you. Thank you.
Okay, I like to underline the fact that we are using the robots in group, not a single child with a single robot. That's something that we usually are starting to see in many schools that are using robotics only for developing the computational thinking or other cognitive aspects that are developed thanks to the robotics. But through this tool, because the robot can be seen as a tool, the aim is to, as we said, creating this positive environment. So leaving the space to the children to work together and to learn how to be in a group, to create their own rules, their roles, to express themselves, to find a way to express themselves in the group. So it's very important to do that, not to leave them alone with the technology or with the tool. What we see is very interesting because they start to explore the robot, to explore the potentiality. So they grow in creativity and really from, and as a group, they learn to help each other because maybe it takes more time to someone to understand how the activity works, and the other are helping, and learning to not take over the robot, but to work together. So they also learn how to help each other in a positive way and to express their emotion in that. The fact that the robot is making the mistake is very important because the learning process and the development is completely inside playful activities. So they are playing with the robot. They are not aware of the huge cognitive work that they are doing because it can be quite complicated to program even a small robot to do a small task. But it's a positive and joyful environment because there is this playful and toy that helps them to do that. So I don't know, Ezra or Marian or Jurgita, if you want.
Jurgita has a long experience in robotics, educational robotics as well. If you want to say anything, or I start with the short videos.
I would like to point out something, is that students, when we have students with disabilities or with difficulties or some special education needs, they have the same desire of using the technology, and it means this tool, this little robot, can strengthen their possibilities, their dignity also, because they feel able of not be afraid of doing anything bad, because as we have explained, as Stefano and Millie have explained you, mistake is very much welcome. So it gives them the freedom of playing without fear, freedom of enjoying the activities. And also very important, we'd like to point out that the team spirit strengthens also the sense of belonging to the group, which is very positive on creating that environment we are talking about. Also, another potential is the socially mediated language. I'm thinking very much on the students with some difficulties. When they work in group, they talk to each other. They experience peer education, and it's very much important for creating that team spirit. Them to make relationship to each other. I think this tool is also very helpful for that, and has a very great potentiality on that.
Wonderful, Mariam. Thank you very much. And Jurgita, you want to add anything with your yearly experience?
Okay, thank you, Lana and Marian. You said everything. I think it's very important, and I see our teachers in the screen, and I think, agree with Marian and Elena. And it's very useful tool. It's very useful not only for children but for teachers too, because because they open their mind and started to be more creative. It helps to be more how to say, more friendly with children. It's very important. Thank you very much for this project and to be a part of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Jurgita, as usual. Okay, I want to add something, and then I start to show you. The videos that you will see, they are not taken from the project, the piloting experiments, because you will see more in detail activities and material, and we can also show you the children face. It's taken from previous activities of robotics, but you will see some ideas of creativity, creating a new environment. And so every activity, everything in your fantasy, in children's fantasy, can be concrete and part of their own activities. One of the video will start is very simple. It's only 12 pictures. And a teacher told me one day, I want to use only my blackboard. I don't want to hear anything about robotics. And I'm always repeating this story because it's real. And I gave it one box of Clementoni Doc robot. He put it in the classroom. And now look what happened. I'm sorry. Well, as you notice, the final picture was amazingly beautiful, even if they are older than 6 years old, because that was in a mixed classroom of last part of primary and middle school children. The last picture shows very well, they were all of them smiling. And when they are smiling, they are sharing a lot of emotion, positive environment. And this enhanced the level of learning process. Now I show you the second. Sorry, I need to close, first of all, the video. If I don't close the video, I cannot continue. Okay. So the second one is a little bit with the younger. Okay, this is an example, very short example of a robot that becomes a rabbit. And this, of course, is not a Clementoni robot, it's a Lego Mindstorm robot. And can be moved with the boys, and they are cooperative learning. They have middle school children going, students going in a primary school, and teaching to them how to use the robots with the boys. But you see, it's quite a very good example, because you can imagine how a robot can be dressed and can change even the environment. So the kids, they can really learn and develop their own creativity and positive, and also fairy tales. They can recreate a fairy tale and play together into this fairy tale. The third one is coming from another European project. There was a Boot STEAM project with the early primary school children, and with not dock robot, other robots that they are not available on the market, but tested with a group and see what was the result of this robot. Okay.
Unas teclas, desde donde lo programamos.
Si queremos que vaya hacia adelante, flechita, una vez o dos veces, depende del caminito por donde tenga que ir, quitamos. Luego le damos a este botón verde, siempre se lo damos, le dedicamos aquí para que haga Mateo y Claudia. Vamos a ver.
Ahora vamos a colocar a Nex mirando hacia la mamá. Fijaros, la mamá está arreglando las tuberías. Vamos a programar a Nex para que vaya hacia donde está la mamá en el baño, ¿verdad?
Un momentito, a ver, pensad, primero que tenemos que hacer, no, primero me lo decís, ¿qué hay que hacer? Ir recto, ¿cuántas casillas? Una y dos, vamos a poner los ojitos de Nex aquí.
Primeramente vamos a borrar.
Vale, y ahora, esperad un momento, tú picas una, usted Lorea, una,
Con el dedín,
venga, una,
vale.
Mateo, otra,
Muy bien.
tú le das a la tecla
Al
de
play.
A ver, bien.
Y dos.
Bien.
Okay, it was just an example to show you in a Spanish school the effect of a robot and the level of attention and emotion enhancing. You notice the kids were shouting, they were happy, they were raising hands and so on. This is not a proper, totally good example, because the teacher was, well, it was improvising in the group, showing the things, and the activities we prepare are a little bit more complex and more detailed, especially with the role of the teacher. But this is just the first hints we wanted to give you at this stage. And Marian Blanco has a lot of experience in this field. We've been, well, they have a lot of schools already working with dock robots, and especially primary school. The tool is a wonderful tool to prevent any kind of exclusion and any kind of different modalities, different attitude in a group. The environment after a certain moment becomes sharing everything, and they cooperate very easily. We have been witness of very enthusiastic, switched off attention and activities and sharing among our experimenting with the robots in our activities. That's what we prepare for you today. And I don't know if you, the partners, want to have to add any comments. And I will give you space after that if you want to say anything and ask anything, if you are interested, curiosity, and anything else. So, Mariam, if you want to add anything, and Jurgita and Ezra, feel free.
I only wanted to add that the possibilities are endless because you can create your own board according to the topic you want and so on, and it always works. It's very easy to create the board. It's only 15 per 15 square, and even children, we have pictures even with children drawing it and creating it. So just to start this today, I think it's very nice start.
No. Also, we have Bojan, who has a long experience in robotics in Macedonia, even if he's not a part of this project. But maybe here is it. Bojan is coming. And
yeah, I'm here. We do, and in this training course right now, there is we included one kindergarten that my kid goes to. That is one of the best kindergartens, I think, in Skopje. And this will be the first kindergarten that we will try to implement using robots in the teaching activities. So there are a couple of teachers that are online right now, and they will be. So after that, maybe we will share some experiences of how the kids react to the robots, because this hasn't been done in Macedonia so far.
Okay, and I remember that with Bojan we have another European project, a policy reform project about robotics versus bullying, and we are implementing Doc Robot on a wider stage. And if you want to collaborate, even kindergarten, they are a perfect environment, because we are starting very in early education for our prevention of any kind of difficult attitude of children and kids in education. So if you want anything else,
plus this is a nice, even for parents to hear with kids. They have younger kids, they can learn a lot, even because the robots are cheap. They can even use it at home, so the kids will get to know the robots, and it will be easier for them when they go to school.
So if please add something. I'm searching something in the meantime on internet, and just to show some pictures of the Doc Robot and explaining. Okay, here it is. Okay, I share my screen, and I was explaining something about the robot very quickly. Here is an example of the Doc Robot. You see on the head there are some arrows, the OK sign. And here is the robot. He's got blue eyes when it's turned on. It's very stable, very strong. It doesn't break at all, and very fast, and speaks quite emotionally. And so it's very useful even when you have autistic or with learning difficulty kids, because even if they touch it in an improper way, it's very, very hard to break it. And a couple of more suggestions is not, yes, no sex. It's not man or girl, boy or girl. And he's a cat. Like every cat in imagination, is already an animal, fast and smart. And you noticed before, there was another robot dressed like an rabbit. And we got example of this robot dressed like a warrior, defending like Santa Claus, for example, for a project about Christmas and everything. And that's quite interesting topic. So, and I am asking to the 78, at least 70 teachers here, if you want to, if you have any question, anything, this is the first part of introduction of our training multiplier event, Pearl project. If you like it, it was interesting, you want to do more, and you want to, well, you're interested tomorrow to see a little bit further more, say, I'm asking. Turn on your microphone then, now is your time. Or you prefer I split you in rooms so you can discuss more freely about it. What do you think, Bojan? Can we divide in some rooms and to share opinions?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, let's, we give you 15 minutes in 20 minutes in rooms for sharing your opinion. So you are 78, I create 6 rooms. Okay, okay.